DK. Welcome to the Wheel Print Podcast, brought to you by APM Medical Supplies. This podcast is created to uncover the inside game of adaptive athletes, their untold stories of what drives them and makes them tick. So be prepared to be inspired as we discover the trials and triumphs of the human spirit. Enjoy this show. All right. Welcome to the Wheel Print Podcast. I'm DK, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour. And we're going to run down the road with Preston Howell. And what a story we're going to weave. Right, Preston?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
DK.
Anyway, Preston is a junior in high school. I'm pretty sure he's 17 years old. And it's going to be a groundbreaking day for the Wheel Print. Because, brother, we've had Paralympic adult medalists, gold medalists, coaches. You are our first junior athlete to appear on an episode, and I couldn't think of a better, more earned invitation to have you on, Preston. But look, everyone listening, this young man has taken the junior division of the National Wheelchair Basketball Association by storm, and not just the junior division. We're going to get into some of the hurt he's put on some of the adult division as well. But Preston is considered small at any position on the floor. And but his game is huge. His heart is huge. And his approach to academics is elite. His example is one of faith, perseverance, and strength. And I've seen it all from the very beginning. I've had a front row seat here in Charlotte. Preston lives in Belmont and goes to South Point High School. And Preston, welcome to the Wheel Print Podcast.
Thank you, DK. I'm honored to be here, man. This means a lot. I'm glad to be
here. You have earned every bit of what we're going to get into. And anyway, so let's start. Everything has a beginning. Why don't you tell us how old you were when you first started to play in Charlotte?
I started to play when I was 7 years old, so about 10 years ago now. And it's been a ride of a lifetime.
Yeah. Well, and how about let's get into the how you found the sport at 7. Who do you give the credit?
I found it through Brittany. I forgot her last name. But her and her mom came up to me, and it was during this, I think, baseball game. And she's like, "Hey, have you ever heard of wheelchair or adaptive sports?" And we found it from there. Then we went to go watch the USA women's team play or practice at a high school gym. I'm pretty sure. And at first, I was like, "Oh heck no, I am not doing this." I was scared to death of the sport, because I saw a few girls fall and hit the ground hard, and it just seemed very rough. And I'm so glad I changed my mind, because this sport has changed my life for the better. I don't know where I'd be without it.
Yeah, well, that Paralympic team happened to be my team, wasn't it?
I think so. Yes, sir.
It was at Lake Norman High School.
Yeah, yes, sir.
In 2012, I think, and that would put 10 years ago. So interesting. Yeah, that was a highly participated, a lot of spectators, and it was a promo game. And man, I'm glad that you were able to come and witness that. And but I'm not so glad that you were taken back, it's too rough, it's too tough or whatever. But why don't we talk about that first day at practice, and why don't you Talk us through that first day that you came to the gym to play wheelchair ball or watch.
Man, that first day of practice was a blast. I remember meeting Coach Mike for the first time and him putting me in a chair 3 times my size. A big old green chair. I remember it too, really well. I don't remember all the details that well, but I remember trying to push around. And that was the first time I think I've been in a wheelchair. And man, that first practice is where it all started for me, really. I got to meet amazing coaches, amazing people. Eventually met you later on, and I am beyond well for this sport. And that's where it all started, pretty much.
Yeah. So was it instantaneous? I mean, what was it?
Instantaneous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fell in love right as I got in the chair for the very first time, and man, that smile on my face did not come off for probably a solid week.
That's great. That's great. And that's in a chair that was probably some adult sized thing that you were pretty small when you first started, man. And so I can imagine you were in a boat compared to, some of the other kids. But yeah, so I guess the question would be, did you like ball before you found wheelchair ball? I mean, were you a fan of college pros or at school, or how did that work?
Yeah, I've pretty much loved sports growing up since before basketball. I loved really any sport that had balls in it, baseball, football, basketball. My first hoop was a little toys hoop, and I shot on that before I even met wheelchair basketball. So the love's always kind of been there since the beginning, but I think that first practice really enhanced my love for the sport.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got a college or a pro team?
Chapel Hill, baby. Yeah.
What's that?
Chapel Hill.
Yeah, Chapel Hill, baby. Michael Jordan in the background. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. That's good. What about pro? Anybody you pull for there?
Unfortunately, I got to go with the hometown, the Hornets. They're not looking too hot, but things are looking up for us, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good pieces, and but there's some transition again. We'll see, but do love LaMelo Ball though. I mean, he's the real deal and fun to watch every night, and anyway, well, look, most people or players, maybe some remember their first shot. I remember my first wheelchair basketball shot, but I was 19. But talk us through that whole process for you, because in the beginning you were so small, and that hoop at 8.5 foot seemed to be light years away, right? So tell us that whole experience that led up to that first make.
Oh, geez. Man, I can tell you this. I was not very good when I first started. I could not throw the ball up 3 feet in the air if I tried. So the first 3 years, I don't think I made a basket. We probably lost every single game those 3 years. But it didn't matter. I loved playing. And eventually, I don't know, but we only had one scorer at the time. And when he wasn't there, we had to find a way to score. And, oh, geez, I did not score a basket for 3 years. And those 3 years I still love the sport. It's not about scoring, really. It's about the people in the game, loving the game. And then when I did score my first basket, which I think was in Raleigh, North Carolina, I don't remember it, but I have pictures of it. And my parents say it's probably their favorite memories of me playing the sport. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's huge because as coaches, we all, we want all of our kids to experience that first hoop, right? And and so for that day to come, and I've heard this story. I think you might have scored when you scored one. I think you ended up scoring three that particular game. Uh, and I'm sure that stands out as a pretty vivid memory, and then you were off to the races, right?
For sure.
Well, look, the NWBA, National Wheelchair Basketball Association, for our listeners that aren't in the game, we have divisions throughout the sport. We have two divisions in the prep, in junior division, and that is prep and varsity. Can you explain to us, because you played in both, now you're in varsity, but explain to the listeners the difference and of the two, prep and varsity?
Yeah, so prep is from 5 to 13 years old, if I'm not mistaken, and they play on a 8.5-foot goal with a smaller ball, and the free throw line's moved in a little closer, and same rules as NCAA, and then varsity is 14 to 18, and they play on a 10-foot goal, normal goals or normal hoops, normal courts, same NCAA rules, just adapted, and just a major skill difference between the two divisions.
Right. You had success in both divisions, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of championships, right?
Yes, sir. One in prep and one in varsity this past year.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of those stats here in a second. Preston, I think it would be interesting for you to share what your disability is, and so that people can understand better your makeup.
All right. So my case is a wild one. I'm undiagnosed. It's in form of skeletal dysplasia, and the doctors still haven't figured it out. But if you see me walking around, that's just what I do. I can walk. I have full range. Well, I have core strength. I'm not paralyzed. I have a deformity in the mouth too, and I have rods in my neck and my back and in my hips, and I have a scoliosis that was treated. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So there's a lot going on there that you just said, and I think it's really important for everyone to know and hear just what a road your disability has taken you down and what you've had to deal with. And it leads me kind of to this next part of our discussion, and I want to really draw the difference out, between an able-bodied youth coming up, what they have to go through versus disabled youth or an adapted player like yourself. It wasn't always rainbows and sunshine for you. You had to overcome quite a bit that I'd like you to spend a little bit of time talking about and try to draw, the difference between what you would go through to play ball versus an able-bodied youth playing ball.
So yeah, sure. I am limited in playing normal ball because my legs and body simply cannot do that. My hoopers come in all different shapes and sizes, no matter what disability, if you're disabled or not, So I think the difference for me is I'm shorter, I'm smaller, but no matter, I'll still give you a run for your money, I guess. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah, kind of not, but I'm glad you shared that. I guess I'm after some of the surgeries, those kinds of things that are common for a youth in wheelchair ball that is
I got you.
uncommon for a youth in able-bodied ball, and some of your specific hurdles that you had to overcome.
So definitely the surgeries would be a big part of it. I think I've gone through at least 20 different surgeries all over the place, really. Um, and I don't think normal kids would be used to that. From recovery time, from laying in a bed, not being able to really take care for yourself or do anything on your own. And definitely like the social dilemma where people don't view you as the same as, I guess, the average day of everybody else, I guess. I think that's a big part of it. Sure, the surgeries are huge, and definitely has had a huge impact on my life. But the social aspect of it is also one that's affected me, and I'm sure is affecting all my teammates and all of my opponents as well.
Yeah. So when you're in that mode of recovery and you're limited, you're dependent, what's Preston thinking about?
Oh, I'm thinking about getting back on the court, 100%. My first question when I'm having a surgery is recovery time and how long I'll be able to get back on the court doing what I love the most. So.
Yeah, that's the answer I was fishing for and knew I would get out of you. But I think it I've seen and heard it all. Okay, but when I hear the reality of I'm 17 years old, I've had 20 surgeries, and every one of those has played its part in making Preston Howell stronger and built to overcome. And so actually getting on the court and playing against anybody, other kids or adults, that's easy to you, I think. It would seem that way. You make it look easy. And with all that going on and what you've been able to do, it's something else. And I'm going to go a little deeper now. I want to ask you about your faith and what role your faith plays in your life today and in your game today.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in a Christian home. Christ has really been my rock for me through it all. Sure, I depend on basketball a lot, but more than that, I depend on Christ. He's really been the reason I'm here right now. I wouldn't sure that he's guarded me safely through the surgeries, through all the difficulties I've had in the past, both medically and just in life. But more than that, he's been there for me with basketball, with the right people, the right team, and he's really the reason I'm here right now. And I'm blessed for him.
Yeah. Through Christ, we can do all things. Well, look, let's continue. Let's get a little warm and fuzzy right now. You mind?
Not at all.
Let's talk about your family. What role has your family played in this journey of Preston's life so far?
Man, they've been huge for me. My parents have driven me to practice since day one, about 50 minutes out of the way. But more than that, they've supported me and they've wasted their time or their hard work and their resources on on my sport. And I like to think that they love it too. Not just my parents, but my sister as well. I think they've all been welcomed from the team, and they love it. Just if not as much as I do. They're another reason why I'm here right now. So I'm beyond blessed for them and their help.
Yeah, I've seen how involved and how much love they pour into you to allow the opportunity to blossom, and I've also seen it in your dad. As dads are funny humans when it comes to their sons or their kids playing sports. And you've got your dad, but he's also a coach. And how is that for you?
Yeah, he's my coach. He kind of picked that up as soon as you said farewell. And it's never been the same, really. He's ever since then, he's been pushing me to get better, stronger, and be a better person. And he's not only my coach, but my dad. And it's tough seeing him out there sometimes because I don't always want to listen to him because he's my dad. But I know he's right. And as much as it might suck for me, he's trying to help me. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It sometimes our kids want to go tone deaf on their dads, but anyways, and behind every good man, there's a good woman in the shadows, and your mom is certainly that person. Your dad, though, is taking this to a whole nother level. His ability to get better as a coach, and now is on the under 23 national team coaching staff, correct?
Yeah, he's the team manager, I believe.
Okay, he's on that staff, and and that's only going to translate into great things for Charlotte. The more he learns and picks up, he's going to be a real asset moving forward. Charlotte, who knew that the Rolling Hornets, the Abilities Unlimited, which is the charitable parent organization over it all, run by Mike Godsey, the treasurer of the National Wheelchair Basketball Association, and has done this for decades now. And what can you not say about Abilities Unlimited and the Rolling Hornets, the machine? I want you to really elaborate on what success has occurred over time.
So, Mike and all the parents, really, they've put in so much work. I can't even begin to speak of. They've been without their help, really. They've done so much for us. Honestly, they've been the reason we've been able to win national championships. They've been. It goes back to Mike. Really, he's been that guy. He started it from the bottom, and we brought 4 teams to the national championship. And without him, we wouldn't be where we were at. We wouldn't have been in those national championships because he started it, and so many other parents just have poured through into our program and really donated all their hard time or all their hard work and their money and for the good of the team, really, and for Abilities Unlimited, not just for basketball, but for track and field and softball and swimming. It's one of a kind organization, I must say. It's 100% volunteer work. Yeah, beyond grateful. It's one of a kind team.
Well, and it's one thing to have 4 teams at national championships, and it's another paying for it.
Yeah.
To be, if not the largest program in the country. And I think what we need to mention is that all 4 of those teams, prep, varsity, Division II, and Division III, all were in the championship game. Unheard of, never been done before. And that's what I would call a machine with momentum and success. And it's ordained, God plays a big role in what we do in Charlotte, and we appreciate Mike's leadership, and I wanted to make sure we got that out. So Preston, I'm going to talk in a minute about some of your basketball stats, which are just staggering. But, when it comes down to it, that's just fodder to me, being able to put a ball in the basket, at the end of the day, yeah, we love it, but what does it really mean? What you've been able to do in the classroom, and I know that Charlotte has put heavy emphasis on being a good student in order to play. And if you do not get the grades, you do not get to play. And we've drawn a hard line and really made some difficult decisions to lead players at home at critical junctures. But you're not that case. You've been recognized as a sport academic achiever 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 2020. In 2021, you were National Academic All-American. And this year, you were National All-American and MVP, all academic, all this. And you got a tremendous scholarship from Toyota. So spend some time telling us what drives you in the classroom to be that good, and so many kids can draw from your example. Why do you put so much effort into your classes?
So like you said, basketball is a privilege. Without academics necessarily and doing well in school, I wouldn't have the opportunity to play. But that's one part of it. But another part is I don't want to let everybody down that has gotten me here. I don't want to let my coaches down. I don't want to let the people that have helped me down. I don't want to let my parents down. And I just want my success to reap from theirs and glorify it all to God. I just want to be full so that they can be proud of me and see that their hard work and their money is well spent in me, or invested in me, if you can say that. Basketball is a privilege. You got to do well in school and got to be a good person to play basketball. And I think the biggest thing really is just not letting. I don't want to let anybody down. That's my biggest fear.
Well, sometimes our biggest fears can motivate us to do the best things. And sounds like that's what you've done. Now, I'm pulling out the spectacles here because I need to now get into you as the player after we just described how elite you are in the classroom. But in 2017, you were Prep National Player of the Year. Again, repeated that honor in 2018, National Player of the Year. 2018 Prep Championship Game MVP and National Champion. Just this year, Division II, playing against grown-ass men and women, you were Player of the Year. And again, this year in Division II championship game, you were named the MVP in that national championship team. You played on 2 teams, 2 MVPs, 2 national championships, and varsity, the same thing. Tell me, these are just, and I want everybody to know there's a laundry list that's not getting mentioned here. These are just the recent highlights of championships and MVPs, which are just astounding. The fact that the world would look at you, Preston, and say he's too small, he's not strong enough, he can't do this, he can't do that. Well, then, boom, out comes your heart. And I watched those games, those finals. How many points did you have in that D2 championship game?
I think I had 29 points.
Woo! 29. And again, we're talking about grown men and women that are D'ing you up and couldn't stop you. And then you repeated it the next day with your junior teammates to become MVP and national champion. So 2 of Charlotte's 4 teams in the finals come away with national championships. Man, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Let me take these glasses off and just get real. How's that make you feel?
Man, it was a hell of a weekend, to say the least. I was kind of numb at first when it all went down and the final buzzer went out. I was like, another win, sure. But when I got home, I started getting these texts and calls, and man, it sunk in like that. And I was like, wow, I did it. We did it. My team and my dad, who's been working his butt off for this. Man, it was just indescribable, to say the least.
It's like that, man. It's like that. And yeah, so many players who are successful. No one is successful by themselves. So to mention everyone is really important. And I think we've covered everyone, including God. And I hope you notice that I'm wearing Kobe Bryant Mamba jersey here, and that's in your honor. I pulled it out today because you have Mamba mentality. When I hear Kobe Bryant talk about what mentality like that means, I think of you and what you've been able to do against all odds. 20 surgeries, all kinds of different pieces and parts and metal in your body, recovery, having to balance class and athletics. How would you talk about your mentality of training and preparation?
I'd say I like to think that I'm a very hard worker myself. I put in the work. I like to think every week, 5 days a week, about 3 to 4 hours a day. Not just shooting baskets, but in the weight room too. But a lot of it, the credit for my success, not just from people that have helped me, but from the hard work that I've put in, and it really shows off. So if you want to be successful, just work hard and you'll get there. Because that's the case for me. If you work hard and you have the right people surrounding you, you will do more than you think you could. And that was the case for me this year. And man, it took off. And I'm beyond grateful that I'm here right now talking to you. And who knows what the future holds.
I'd like to take a minute to tell you about a company that's important to me and my wheel print. APM Medical has chosen to sponsor the Wheel Print podcast and my DK3 events. This is who they are. They give back to our adaptive sports world. I encourage you to look at APM to provide you with your personal care supplies. It just makes sense to support those who support us. Email APM at info@apm-med.com. Mention the Wheel Print podcast to receive your next order, how you want it, and when you want it. APM Medical is a small company with a big heart. Now let's get back to our conversation with our guest. And you're 17 years old, and the future's bright. You're going to need really good, thick sunglasses, man. So also, you have earned an invitation to your first DK3 Invitational in Dallas, and that's in about 3 weeks. And I would imagine you're doing a little preparation for that. How's things going? Getting ready to hoop it up with some of the game's best.
Man, I'm looking forward to it. But right now, I'm focusing on exams right now. So hopefully, in a week, I can start really working harder. Right now, it's just shooting, getting in the chair, really. But I'm looking forward to that, and I cannot wait. Yeah. It's going to be a blast. And I've been wanting to do this for years now, and I'm beyond blessed for the invite, DK. Thank you so much for the invite.
Oh, yeah, and I'm certainly not. You earned it. I'm not fishing for a compliment. And I knew, we've had this conversation a couple years, 2 or 3 years. You have wanted in. And I just said to you, your time will come, stay encouraged. And here we are now, man. And the world in Texas, they're going to see your game. And I'm excited that you're going to be part of it. And what a perfect answer to say, I got to concentrate on exams. I mean, you are a parent's just prototype. That's music to a coach, to a parent. I love it, P. I love it. Well, got a couple more things. We're winding up here, but what about, do you got any Paralympic role models that the game has so many greats that have been on TV and that you've seen and followed? Who can you name off that inspires you?
I'm talking to one of them right now. And then I got Ryan Niesweimer and Gail Gang, who have been on the T2 team this past year. And they've really pushed me harder than I thought they could push me. They've taught me more than I thought I'd learn in a year with playing with them. They've really been great role models for me. And they're at the tippy top, and they are giving back to kids, and I just find that so amazing and inspiring from them. And I strive to give back one day like that, because not just them, but they've done. They're the reason we won. Not even going to put a cherry on it. They are the reason we won this past year, because they've been great role models for not just for me, but for the whole team. They pour their heart and soul into it, and it really showed off. And then some other greats I can list off the top of my head: Matt Scott, Steve Syria, Patrick Anderson, and guys like them. I love watching them and would love to get on that level one day.
You are filled up with rocket fuel towards being someone to contend with. And who knows what you're going to be like in another 10 years, but having the luxury of Gail Gang, a gold medalist, and Ryan Nicewinder, a gold medalist on your team, mentoring, coaching, and giving back, that says it all, and the fact that they've inspired you and to give back someday in that kind of a role yourself will be, that's how it works. That's how it should work anyways. We can't be on the take and not give back. It just can't, it doesn't work that way. The world is too much like that right now. Closing out. So you have made yourself incredibly attractive to colleges. Okay. You're not going to say it, I'm going to say it, but you have. And the primary thing that's at the top is, again, the student that you are, that they'll be able to count on you to get through semesters and be there for your teammates. Coaches are looking for good students first and then great players secondly. But what I know, you're a junior in high school, but you've been thinking about college for a while. What are some of those thoughts, without having to put you on the spot to get specific?
Really, I just want to take my time and not make the wrong decision. They're all great schools, but really what fits me the most, both athletically, academically, and socially. And I'm really trying to figure that out right now. Going on a few tours this summer, and I just went on my first one. And I hope I figure it out soon and what's right for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of prayer. And where was your tour?
Auburn University.
Yeah, wow, big schools. Yeah, so I know there's some other big ones that are hoping you pull the trigger their way. But like you say, I think academically it's got to be a good fit. What you want to do with your career, and then the education and then the ball playing will fall into place, because there are a lot of great colleges. So, but I'll be I'll stand in line to say any one of those colleges would really be lucky to have you. And well, Preston, I'm gonna just leave the listeners with, this kid can knock them down and never change expression one after another until he's got 29 or 35 on you, and then he can do the same thing in the classroom. I mean, what an honor to have you as a guest right now, Preston. And do you got any parting words for some of the kids out there that are going to be listening to this?
Work hard. Surround yourself with the right people, and good things will come. But thank you, DK, for this opportunity. It's an honor being here. I'm beyond blessed for this opportunity, and see you in Texas.
That's right, baby. We'll be you'll be balling it up, and I'm gonna be front row center. And all right, well, I want to thank everyone for taking the time out to get to know Preston Howell and what makes him tick. And so from the Wheel Print Podcast, we want to say, be a good human being, do the right thing, and support wheelchair basketball whenever you can. All right. Peace, Preston.
Peace.
I hope you enjoyed today's show on the Wheel Print Podcast. I invite you to check out our other episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on our website at DK3.com. Special thanks to Dromos Agency for producing this podcast, our lead sponsor, APM Medical, for their support, and Performax Wheelchairs, a sweet ride.